You're here, I'm queer, and welcome back to my channel. Hello everyone, welcome back. For this video, we are going to be playing again with watercolors. This will be the second edition to my watercolor painting, my watercolor journey. As you guys know, I started learning how to paint with watercolors, and it's been a pretty cool and calming journey. Actually, I don't know if I would say calming, because sometimes trying to get the colors to blend the way I want to is kind of stressful, but it's a learning curve for sure, but it's been really fun. The subject or the muse for today's painting is going to be Ningguang from the video game Genshin Impact. For those who were expecting the Sailor Moon vintage hair collection, yes, that's still happening. But I've been really obsessed with Genshin Impact, specifically Ningguang, and I wanted to paint her. So yeah, let's get into it. So it's actually been a while since I painted this big of a painting. It is 11 by 15. It's not the biggest, but I would say it's a pretty good size. You can get a lot of details in there. I didn't intend for this painting to be that big, but I was like, alright, let's go with flow, and that's exactly what happened. I'm sketching with my watercolor pencils, actually, that I use for my dolls. It's great because it does activate with water and it will, blend with the painting. And I used myself as a reference for this pose, specifically the hands, because I really wanted to showcase Ningguang's nail guards because she wears them, and I'm like, that's so cool. And yeah, I posed for it, why not? For me, drawing hands is also quite difficult. I tend to just go for like the princess pose or like a renaissance hand, which is really nice. It's very delicate looking, but it's not the most dynamic. And so using reference photos is quite vital when it comes to drawing or painting, so I do highly recommend that. And now let's go ahead and line it with a ball pen, and it's just my regular office ball pen. I did intend for this to be a line art at first, but I know that the pose and like the details are gonna throw me off, so I wanted to kind of perfect it at first with pencil. So yeah, specifically the watercolor pencil, because like I said, it will blend later with watercolor paint. I've been so obsessed with this game, specifically all of its characters. The character design on it is just really cool, and Ningguang is one of the top for me in terms of design. So I've been so obsessed with her, she's been so inspiring, and I was so happy that I got her on my second reroll. So it was such a lucky moment. And after that, we can go ahead and erase the watercolor pencil lines. And honestly, it didn't erase completely. There are some marks here and there still, but they're okay and they blend really well. So I still prefer it than graphite, because obviously graphite can become a little muddy sometimes when you use watercolor with it. So I do recommend watercolor pencils to sketch out first. And now using my pen, I'm gonna go ahead and add the details for the hair, for her face, for her eyes, for her clothes, everything. And as you can see, I'm preserving some of the highlight points in her hair. Her hair is technically kind of like really platinum blonde, but I still wanted hair strands, like the hair strand detail there. So yeah, I think it turns out really cool in the end still. For those of you unfamiliar with Genshin Impact, it is a quote-unquote free-to-play RPG game, and you can literally use your PlayStation, Switch, your phone, iPhone, Android, computer, literally across platforms, and the graphics is so cool. And you can actually play with your friends when you really reach a certain level. You can play with 4 friends in one game, so it's really cool. You can help out each other during quests or something. Now I said quote-unquote free because there is a gacha system to it, which you can obtain the points or the currency through the game when you grind really hard, or you can spend money in order to roll your luck, which I've done already. So yeah, Ningguang was actually one of my target characters that I wanted, and I got her on my second reroll, which was so lucky. And I'm so happy that I got her because she was one of my favorite characters. I love her power. She is a Geo character. It's just so cool. She's a long-range character. She's so elegant. And I just love her color palette. I love her. So cool. Such a cool character. So elegant. I haven't interacted with her though in the story, so it's really weird because you have the character, you're playing as the character, but in the story-wise, you haven't met them in the story. So, but you know, it's cool. I have her. She's amazing. And she's a 4-star. Holla. And now it's time to add the color, and I usually start with the face and then I kind of work my way out. And for the most part I am doing the wet on wet technique, which is wet the paper first, as you can see over here, just with water, and then I go at it with my watercolor paint. And yeah, I'm just starting with a beige, and I'm gonna kind of like mix it up with other colors and stuff, and we're gonna go deeper for sure. One thing I'm still trying to improve on is shading, and specifically environmental shading. And I don't know, I just can't grasp the idea of light bouncing on the character, which is, like I said, I just can't grasp it still. But I guess in order to learn it, you just have to try it, right? So yeah, someone actually commented that on my other watercolor video too, and I agree, I need to learn environmental shading. I feel like it'll make my portraits a little bit more dynamic, specifically if they're in like a specific background and a specific lighting. I feel like for that to look realistic, for them to really be in the scene, I need to know how to put them in the scene color-wise. So yeah, I don't know. I need to research on this. I do feel kind of indifferent with how I posed and draw her hair. I like it, but I'm not sure if I like it overall. Specifically, I don't like how it frames her in the back. Like, I like her side fringe, and I love her top knot and everything, but I'm not sure if I like the waves in the back. Like, I like how it shows, but I'm not sure if the shape is right. I think it's the overall composition. I think it's just, she's just way too big, and so there's no other way to really pose her hair. Painting on the lips is probably one of my favorite parts, and I think that's why I wanted to make this painting a little bit bigger so I can actually put details on the lips. And I wanted to give her an ombre style lip, and it's just so cool seeing the watercolor expand and take shape. I don't know, it's just really fun and quite tranquil, I would say. Now this is the part where I kind of struggled with her sleeves specifically because they are supposed to be dark brown. And so for watercolor, you have to layer it multiple times, and I think I struggled embracing watercolor at this point because I tried to shade with it, but at the same time I wanted it to be a little bit more darker, and in some parts it became a little patchy. So I was definitely struggling to embrace it, and I think I had a hole. Like in my mind I still had like an acrylic paint type of mentality, and I really had to, get it together. Like over here, I'm trying to shade it to add more dimension to her sleeves, but it ended up drying really, really patchy. And so I just layered it and layered it and layered it until it just became a solid color. I mean, it still looks really great. I just wish that it had more dimension, you know? Now this part is supposed to be fur, and so I actually had fun with this technique because I was just kind of, dropping the watercolor paint and I wasn't really blending it, and it gave off this fur-like detail. And obviously I used like gray, browns, just to kind of play with color and the shading of the fur. But it's supposed to be white. But obviously, I wanted to add shadow here and there and also kind of give it the texture that it is fur. And so I actually had fun doing this. And I actually wanted to do the salt technique, but I don't have salt. So for next time, we'll save that for next time. So like I said, I have Ningguang as a character. She's in my main party, but I actually have not met her in the story. I think she was presented, I think she was during the ritual, and I'm on that story arc. But yeah, they haven't interacted, so I'm really excited to kind of know her story and her background. But I believe she is a wealthy person in Liyue. I think she gambles, because whenever I switch her voice to English, she refers to gambling and dice and stuff like that. So maybe she's a rich gambler or something. I don't know. I am still trying to figure out the whole mechanics of the game. I'm still new to it. Like there's so many currencies in Genshin Impact. There's so many like stats. So it can be confusing and overwhelming. So I'm still learning slowly but surely. On how to power up the characters and ascend them and level them up and all of that. So yeah, if you guys have any tips for Ningguang, please comment down below. Now I believe this painting took me 4 days to complete. I could be wrong, more or less, which is actually pretty long for a painting, but it is big, and it is watercolor, and I don't use a blow dryer, which I think I should to speed up the process, because I do have to wait for, some layers to dry and stuff, but I was taking my time. I wanted it to be a relaxing moment and process. And so, yeah, I mean, I had fun overall, Played a few games here and there, finish a few quests in between, just to get into the whole thing. But I definitely intended for these paintings to be a quick and easy, painting, kind of like a sketch kind of phase, but it turned out to be a project of its own. So, I'm not mad at it. It's a learning process for sure. For those who do play Genshin Impact, let me know in the comments below who's in your party, who's your favorite character. It doesn't have to be because they're the most strongest character there is. It doesn't have to be a 5-star character. It can be because they're cool, their power is cool, they have great style. It doesn't matter. I'd love to hear your input. Like I said, mine is Ningguang. She's definitely my number one. I actually just got Xinyan, and she, oh my goodness, is so powerful. I love her character design also. Xiao, he's coming out soon. Ayaka, she's coming out soon. Oh my god, I'm obsessed. Now for this one, I'm doing a dry on wet technique. So the paper is dry and then the paintbrush is obviously wet. And this is how I can do finer lines and details. So I'm doing the lines on her lips. I just love that design. And I'm also giving her the eyeliner and also her lashes, of course. And surprisingly, the black for the watercolor is pretty opaque and it's pretty black. So that's really, really cool. Now for the background, I just wanted to keep it simple, so I'm just blending different tones and hues of yellow. And quite frankly, because I'm not the best at coming up with backgrounds, so why not? Now for the whites of her eyes and whites around her armor, I'm using white gouache paint. Now gouache paint is kind of like an in-between acrylic paint and watercolor, so it's the perfect middle ground, and it's very, very opaque. As you can see over here, I'm adding like shine details on her armor and accessories, and so I thought it was just a really, really cool thing to really add dimension to the art. I didn't mention it earlier, but if you noticed it, I actually added gold pigment on all of her armor and accessories. So anything that was yellow, I added gold Perlex powder to. Don't do it. So I mix Perlex powder with water, and it actually does not stay. When it dries, it becomes powdery still, so it doesn't really adhere to the paper. So I would have to research a better gold pigment for paintings for later projects. For her lashes, I am using the Faber-Castell Artist Pen, and I'm still okay. I'm okay with it. I don't think I like it, especially on the bottom lashes. It's just a little too thick, and I can't flick it like how I do with pen. So I need to research a better pen or something, or a marker, in order to create thinner and sharper lashes. And now we're done. See, oh my god, look at that. Ugh, I have to go over it again. I hope you guys enjoyed this process. It was really, really fun for me to create a bigger piece of painting. I just like how I was able to create more details in there, specifically, like I said, on her lips and her eyes and stuff. But it was such a fun and well, I wouldn't say relaxing, but it was a fun process. And like I said, me being obsessed with the game actually does help a lot as motivation. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!